Well, the technical issue has now been resolved in regard to the radar. Our engineers, says the National Air Traffic Services, says our engineers have now restored the system that was affected this afternoon. We're in the process of resuming normal operations in the London area. We continue to work closely with airlines and airport customers to minimise disruption. We apologise for any inconvenience this has caused. We can see actually live on the screen now, if you're if you're listening on the radio, I will describe it to you. You would expect at that whole area around London, especially around Heathrow, where the footage is, that there would be loads of different flights coming in. And what we know, of course, is that many of them have been grounded. Let's speak to Lisa Minot now. She is the travel editor of The Sun. Lisa, what an embarrassment for the air traffic control services, and what a huge inconvenience, even though this has only lasted a matter of minutes. Nonetheless, the effects, I would imagine, will be felt right across the day and presumably into tomorrow as well.
Very much so. My own sister is sat in a plane in Croatia at the moment, unable to take off because of this. You've got to understand this is the busiest time of year. You've got hundreds and hundreds of flights affected across both Gatwick and Heathrow, and any small amount of a delay is going to have an issue. We don't yet know if that's going to have an impact on airports across the UK, but we have had some information that perhaps it's impacted at Newcastle as well. Whatever it is, you know, when you look at the likes of Mike O'Leary from Ryanair constantly saying that he's very unhappy with the service he's getting from air traffic control, both here in the UK and in Europe. It is very embarrassing for them to have to be dealing with this in the peak summer season.
Well, I'm just getting some news into the newsroom here at Talk. All departures at Edinburgh being held. Edinburgh is affected. Flights suspended at Birmingham, Manchester, Stansted, East Midlands airports, all affected by this. All outbound flights from the UK were affected earlier on. But of course, this only broke about, literally less than 20 minutes ago. But of course, as you say, will have huge effects in the future, and there today and tomorrow, I would imagine, as well. It is such an incredibly busy time. If you're perhaps got Talk on the car radio on your way to the airport because you're flying off for your holiday or for a business trip or whatever, what would your advice be, Lisa? What should people do?
If you're already en route, of course, continue to make your way to the airport. But I would first check with your airline. I think that's going to be the number one priority. Check with your airline if your flight is still going to be going, particularly if you're flying later tonight or tomorrow. Check with your airline in advance and make sure you know what your rights are. What your rights are. This is not an airline's fault. There is no compensation due. It costs airlines hundreds of millions when we have these kind of situations with air traffic control, and they are very frustrated by this. It costs them a lot of money, but you do have rights. The airline has a duty of care to look after you. They should be getting you to your destination as quickly as possible. But obviously, in a situation like this, so fast moving, so last minute, it could be that airlines are going to have to really scramble to actually try to get their schedules back up and running again.
Lisa, thank you. That's Lisa Minot there, the Sun travel editor. Appreciate that. Lots of information coming in. We now know that this radar issue is over. What we also know is that it's going to take quite a while for things to get back up and running to the same extent that they were meant to. On the screen there we have the radar situation. These are live radar situation in regard to Heathrow, just to the west of London, of course. They're, as far as I can see there, from the entire sort of west and north and the sort of western half of London, there only appears to be, apart from around Heathrow, one flight in the air there and one helicopter. So we will see what the situation is. We'll continue to monitor that. We're going to talk to Paul Charles about this in a second too, of the PC agency. He knows all about the radar and all the different technical aspects of this. In the last few minutes, on the other major story breaking this hour, that is of course the conviction of Mohammed Fahir Amaz, the man who's been found guilty of assaulting two female police officers at Manchester Airport. PC Lydia Ward had actual bodily harm caused to her, I presume, but I don't know. But I presume that is the police officer who had her nose broken, and the assault of the emergency worker PC Ellie Cook. There could well be a retrial of his brother Mohammed Ahmad, and I want to make sure that we don't prejudice that retrial. What I do know is that Mike Peake, who is the chairman of the Greater Manchester Police Federation, that's essentially the union of police officers in Manchester, has released this statement and says police officers in Manchester work in a difficult, dangerous and dynamic world where there is no such thing as a routine incident. They deserve support in that work from the public and politicians. The distressing scenes we have seen during this trial show some of the worst side of police work that our officers are faced with. 35 officers are assaulted in Greater Manchester Police every week. We are bloodied and we are bruised. We have been supporting the officers concerned at the incident at Manchester Airport last summer since it occurred, and as a federation we will continue to do so. And they're saying they're making no further comment at the time. That is, of course, because the Crown Prosecution Service will be making a decision in regard to whether there is a retrial of Mohammed Ahmad, the 26-year-old who denied a single charge of assaulting PC Zachary Marston. The jury failed to reach a verdict. In that, we heard the analysis of Peter Blexley a little bit earlier on that. On the travel front, are you on your way to an airport? Are you sitting in an airport at the moment? Are you sitting on a plane listening to talk? Are you someone who has experience of this? Are you having delays at the moment? I know a load of people are going on holidays. Give us a ring. Tell us your experience. 0344 499 1000. Loads to discuss between now and 7. Stay with us.